Good morning, my friends. This day's 6-minute message centers on a theme that has been built in our previous messages, and that is the theme of contentment. Here, our focal point is not on what contentment is, nor is it on how contentment is a prerequisite, if you will, for being a good servant. No, that is what we dealt with before. It should be clear to everyone now that our focal point, our purpose in life, is to love the Lord by loving and serving and encouraging others. It is to be a person whose focus is on God and others, and that means our focus cannot be on self. And of course, contentment, as we've already said earlier, is key. If we are content, we are not concerned about self, and that opens us up to be the servant who centers upon God and others that we're called to be. If, however, we struggle with contentment, we will be self-serving and self-centered, and that is not the proper heart to play the role that we're called to play. So struggling with contentment. If a contented heart is best suited to serve, and it is, and our life should be dedicated to serving others in God's love, and it should be, then what do I do, what do we do if we struggle with contentment, right? If we struggle with being content, if we're finding ourselves overly frustrated or overly angered, or we find ourselves being immersed in our circumstances as we see them, so much so that our heart is not prepared to serve. What do we do? Well, what we think about, in my mind, and this is nothing more than a suggestion for your consideration, what I think is something that we should consider if we're struggling with contentment is that what we think about is the key to contentment. To share with you Philippians 4 and verse 8, a well-worn verse. That is a verse that we have seen multiple times if you are at all connected with our church. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. That is a command. It is saying center our heart and our mind. Center our attention, center our thinking, our thought life on the things of the Lord. And there are so many wonderful things to consider. My friends, you and I, we are saved. Nothing can separate us from the love of God that is in Christ. We will exit this world at some point in time when our journey here is done as God deems it. And he will call us home, and we will forever be in heaven. We will never again know loneliness or longing or hunger or thirst. We will in heaven have a joy, a sense of completeness that is beyond our ability to understand or even conceive of now. We have so much to look forward to. Eternity is ours. If we dwell on that which is indeed true, it is indeed a pure and lovely thing. If we dwell on the reality that the Lord is with us, he will never leave us and never forsake us, and that everything that we experience God will use to grow us in our sanctification. He is, slowly perhaps, and maybe through difficult circumstances, but he is absolutely in everything we experience growing us. He's growing us with a deeper and richer commitment onto him, and we are maturing and growing by his grace. That is to say, we have so much to be thankful for, so much that we can dwell on. And so what we ought to do is dwell on those things. Whatever is true, honorable, whatever is commendable, excellent, think of these things. Romans 8:28. This emphasizes a reality that we need to latch onto, especially if our life is in circumstances difficult. And we know that in all things work for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. No matter what it is that we experience, even if it is not what we desire to experience, God will use it to grow us in humility, to grow us in dependence upon him, to remove from us dependence on ourselves. No matter what we experience, it will be good. The Lord will use it to bless us. If we begin to think about these things, then the circumstances that we're living in will melt away. They'll be put in the proper context, and we can be content. And that is an important and absolutely critical thing. It is not at all outside of the realm of prayer to ask the Lord to give us contentment. Is it self-serving to pray for contentment for yourself? I'm going to give you my opinion. It is but an opinion, but for your consideration, no, in fact, it is not, especially when we recognize that our contentment is going to equip us to serve and to focus in on others better. In fact, we should also pray for contentment for our loved ones, and we should endeavor to speak into the lives of our loved ones words that would get them to center on the Lord and find contentment themselves. So as we conclude this message, the point is this, the take home is, may the Lord give you a contented heart. May he take your focus off of self so that we would be satisfied in what the Lord has provided, so that in that we can put our focus where it needs to be, on God and others, that we might serve and love. May your day be blessed. May the Lord give you contentment. May he make you a servant this day. Have a fantastic day, my friends.